Y'all want to go for a quick rip? Is freaking haunted. What's up, buddy? Oh, it's so fuzzy. What's up, fuzzy pup? Hold on, buddy. I'm all fogged up here. Bike stuff, camera stuff, more camera stuff, another bike, tools, more bike stuff, more tools, cleaning stuff, bike stuff, bike stuff, bike stuff, bike stuff, bike stuff. We need to clean all this up. There was bike stuff in this box. Alright, so this box for now is just the box that I throw everything in that needs to be organized. This is all the electronics that I pulled off of the red Cranbrook. I wish I would have remembered we had this when the power was out for a week. Oh, there's an intake in here for the YD100 and a throttle assembly that pretty much needs to be thrown away. Had to take a Henry brake. These little Dremel cutters, mini cutoff wheels, these come in handy for so many things. Oh, Henry, making sure no one steals your bike, right?
That's a really nice sort of flare.
Oh, back to work. It is a new day. I ran out of energy yesterday and fell asleep. And then the dog woke me up because the mail lady came by with stuff. And this is a replacement rear axle. Anyways, these are for this. Yeah, the BB2 or Bassett Blaster 2.0. A lot of fancy stuff going to be going on here. Don't worry, it's not just going to be a stock Cranbrook frame. Okay, obviously we got the YD100 and the F2 thruster pipe. We got ourselves some nice knobby tires for some trail use. And I am currently waiting on the quill stem adapter so I can use these nice green handlebars which match the tank and the intake. This is an experimental color scheme. I like green, I like blue. Blue and green is cool, right? I don't know. I was thinking like blue, green, white, but I'm too lazy to go through the white trim. So if this doesn't work, we'll just paint it all black again and it'll be blue and black. I'm gonna go ahead and stick these brakes on. So the front brakes are gonna be pretty easy. They just, you know, go on like pretty much any other front brake in the history of front brakes. The back brakes are gonna be tricky. Now, on my red Cranbrook, which is the same thing I'm gonna have to do here, I couldn't put the back brakes on top because of the angle of this tube. The pads just couldn't reach the rim of the wheel. But I was able to flip it over and put it on the bottom and they lined up perfectly. Fancy maneuvering and had to deflate the tire, but we got it on there. It just barely comes in contact. I think that's okay. But I'm worried that the wire being this, or the cable being this close, might melt because this gets very hot. I don't want to wrap this muffler again because that wrap, if you touch that stuff, it's like touching fiberglass. Pretty much is fiberglass. It gets in your skin, it itches you like crazy, and if you rub your eye, that's terrible. So we're going to try this, see if it works. If not, that's fine. We still got a coaster brake and we'll have a front brake, so it's all good. 10 millimeter, of course. So, you know, I promise we're gonna finish what we started, but this is usually what happens, you know. You start organizing something and another box of parts show up. We got our pedals, but this is a backup throttle. It's got the aluminum housing with the kill switch. It's just a better throttle for these bikes. A dedicated kill switch. This is essentially the same as what comes in those kits, but this one is properly marked. It actually tells you what's run and what's off. Because on those kill switches, off lets the bike run and on turns it off. Because of the way that the motorized bikes work, the kill switch shorts out the magnetos. So it's different than a standard ignition on a motorcycle. I needed another kill switch. Anyways, because this motor, this build is using a thumb throttle. Yeah, thumb throttle. Because I like the grips that come with these handlebars. That's the throttle cable. Bunch of end caps for the cable sleeves and for the cables themselves. One of these flexible tripods. So if you remember in the crash video, we kind of destroyed our last one, which I really liked. A windsock for the GoPro that I'm holding. It's actually just a foam that wraps around the entire camera. This is supposedly a high voltage magneto that everybody keeps telling me to get. Some proper cutting bits for when I really need to dig some metal out of a cylinder. We got this foamy. This was not the right filter for this carburetor. The inlet's way too small, so I cut it a little bit smaller than the intake so that it would hold on really well. And I think that's gonna work. I got this seat because I saw the blue in the picture. The blue looked just like the blue on the bike in the picture, but it wasn't, of course. Threadless stem adapter. This is a quill stem to threadless adapter, and it just basically it has the same little friction mounting mechanism that a quill stem has. Goes down in there, you tighten this bolt, hold it in place, and then you can fit on pretty much any kind of handlebar you want. This particular style, I don't know if they're all like this, but in case you're wondering exactly how this works, basically there's like a little teeter-totter in here. This pivots back and forth, and this is so that this brake lever will apply even pressure to the front and back brakes. So if you happen to use one of these that has this pivot design, just keep that in mind. If you're adjusting these, thinking that maybe you can put more tension on your back brake and less on your front brake, it's not going to do anything here, because the moment one of these starts to pull, then it's going to rock and pull on the other one. This is, like I said, in an attempt to make sure that both sets of brakes get even brake pressure. So if you're trying to adjust tension, you'll need to figure out a different way to do that. I thought I could spread this a little bit, just a little bit, to make it easier to slide onto the handlebars without scratching up the paint, and it just immediately snapped. It's like the cheapest cast metal you could think of. You can see like air bubbles and everything in it. Yeah, I won't be getting another one of these ones. The problem isn't that I was trying to go cheap on this. The problem is that there was a lack of options. It was either really cheap with hit and miss reviews, or really too expensive to justify the price. So I gotta try and find one that's decent quality for a decent price. We're gonna try this Black Max synthetic blend. Ah, mosquitoes. No, go away. See, doing what I'm doing here. It's random crap like this. That's the reason I run a fuel filter, among others. We don't live in a perfect world. You're gonna screw something up eventually.
I give in to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes. I'm reaching out for the easy high. Please fortify this strength of mine. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
She's a bit tight. She's gonna be loud. Still got a high idle. I'm not sure why. Hey, that intake just does not want to stay on there. It seems like this motor really likes to be under load. When it's under load, it runs a lot smoother, but when it doesn't have a load on it, it really gets rough. Well, there it is, guys. BB2, the Bassett Blaster 2.0. She's louder, she's faster, she looks meaner, she's brighter. Anything I can do to grab attention for our good friend, Mr. Brian Bassett. Oh, and because of the piston port blowback that you guys saw in the previous video, she just spits raw fuel out the intake to be like as inefficient as possible. And yeah, I still get great gas mileage. Shout out to Two Stroke Ports for making me aware of the fact that you can cut these in half. So this is literally my first time ever using a rivet gun. It seems simple enough. Okay, there's one, and the second one should do the trick. Sweet, that is on there. All right, so here's the thing. I thought about using the adapter plate and some kind of a pipe coupler to connect these, what you would say proper, I guess. But the thing is, that's not gonna look any better because the plate that bolts on here is not a perfect match, and then you'll have a pipe coupler, probably some hose clamps, be kind of a just bulky mess. That's gonna add more weight because the plate that connects this is pretty thick. As opposed to just doing this, it's a snug fit, but it twists in there real nice and I can get it up high. The thing is, the aesthetics, the way it looks, is actually going to be a little better this way than it would if I connected it the way it's intended. And another big benefit to this is because this is going to be a trail bike. Trails have a lot of bumps, and this is already a lot of weight on the exhaust. Even with our support, you know, having the silencer on here bouncing around on the rough trails is just putting unnecessary stress on the exhaust. So when I'm on a trail where I don't have to worry about bothering people, I can just untwist it, throw it in the backpack. There we go. Whether or not there's a performance gain from keeping this in or taking it out, I don't know. But when I am on trails, it is nice to just be able to untwist this, pull it out, stick it in the backpack, get some weight off of this. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing it this way since it worked. When it's snugged up in there real good, it's definitely not coming out. And because it's kind of a bent pipe, I can easily keep it out of the way of the spokes, whereas if I was to use the adapter, it would be really close to that rear wheel, and bouncing around, it might be bouncing off the spokes. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing that. That works. This exhaust support I came up with is just using the original fender mount that came with the Huffy. I had two of them, one for the back, one for the front tire, plus another set from another build. We're going to see how well this holds up, but right now it does have a little wiggle room, but it keeps all the up and down movement off of the studs. So you can see it just hits against the support. So it's pretty clever, I guess. I need to clean it up a little bit, paint the brackets and the clamp, the screws black so they don't stick out as much. We have our kill switch here. This is just experimental for now. And see how well it works out, how intuitive it is. I can just kind of reach down, turn it on and off. And this one is properly labeled. This one's designed for mini bikes, so it doesn't have a on and off reversed like it does for a motorcycle kill switch. Alright, so I'm not finishing this tonight or in this video, because every time I put something away I find something else that's not in the right place, and then I gotta put that away. So probably next week's video we'll go through all the bike parts and the bike tools. I'm just gonna go ahead and put up the video of this little guy, and that should do it. Yeah, alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you got a kick out of the new build. And tomorrow I plan on taking it up to a trail, get some good use out of those tires and new handlebars, and see exactly what a Cranbrook can do. Shouldn't be a surprise. We've pushed them pretty hard in the past.